Welcome to our exploration of the profound intersections between early Christian writings and Islamic teachings. Today we delve into a narrative that challenges conventional understandings and shines a light on a shared history that might surprise many. At the heart of our discussion is a narrative central to religious thought for millennia, the crucifixion of Jesus. While mainstream Christian doctrine affirms the crucifixion and resurrection, the Quran presents a differing account, stating that Jesus was not crucified, but it appeared so to them. The Gospels depict Jesus as a prominent figure, preaching in the heart of Jerusalem, making the betrayal by Judas for 30 pieces of silver perplexing. The Bible itself raises questions with its account, marked by discrepancies and contradictions. The crucifixion's historical validity is further complicated when we delve into early Christian texts outside the canonical Bible. Figures like Ignatius of Antioch and writings such as the Epistle to the Magnesians hint at early Christians who doubted the crucifixion narrative, a sentiment predating Islam by centuries. The Quran's stance, denying Jesus' crucifixion, is often seen as a contradiction to the Bible. However, examining early Christian literature reveals a spectrum of beliefs regarding Jesus' fate, including those aligning with the Quranic account. The dialogue between these ancient texts highlights the diversity of early Christian thought. The Basilidians, an early Christian sect, believed in a form of docetism, suggesting that Jesus was not crucified, echoing Islamic teachings. This diversity is underscored by the letter to the Galatians, where Paul rebukes the community for being misled about Jesus' crucifixion. O foolish Galatians, who has bewitched you, before whose eyes Jesus Christ was publicly portrayed as crucified, suggests that the narrative of crucifixion was contested even among the earliest followers of Christ. The Psalms, revered texts within the Bible, also provide intriguing insights. Psalm 20:6 expresses confidence in the Lord's salvation of His anointed, a term often associated with the Messiah. Furthermore, Psalm 91 offers a profound promise of protection from harm, a passage interpreted by some to suggest that the Messiah would be safeguarded against mortal peril, including crucifixion. In the letter to the Galatians, an early epistle in Christian scripture, we find a striking admonition. O foolish Galatians, who has bewitched you, before whose eyes Jesus Christ was publicly portrayed as crucified. This inquiry highlights the diversity within early Christian thought and demonstrates that questioning the crucifixion narrative has roots predating Islamic teachings. Whether in the pews of a church, the halls of a mosque, or the quiet reflection of one's heart, the story of Jesus, His life, His mission, and His legacy continues to inspire, challenge, and guide millions.
And just as Christians will use certain places in the Hebrew Bible, like Psalm 22, Isaiah chapter 53, the suffering servant, as proof text that Jesus was crucified, the Muslims will say that this idea that Jesus wasn't crucified is actually more in line with pre-Christian messianic Jewish expectations. Like David writes in the Psalms, it's very explicit. Psalm 20, verse 6. He says in his own language, in the Hebrew language, he says, Ata yada'atiki hushya Adonai Mashiacho. I know that God, the Lord, saves His Messiah. Hushya is the active participle for the Lord. Saves who? Mashiacho, His Messiah. That God saves His Messiah. And in 1945, they discovered, because for the longest time, for 1300 years, the only scripture that made this claim was the Quran. The only religious tradition that made this claim that Jesus wasn't crucified were the Muslims. But in 1945 at Nag Hammadi in Egypt, they discovered Christian treatises and gospels and apocalypses like the second treatise of the Great Seth, the Coptic Apocalypse of Peter, the Acts of John was later discovered, that actually state that there were indeed Christian denominations before the advent of the Prophet Muhammad that denied the crucifixion. This predates Islam. This actually predates the formation of the New Testament canon. Right? And Ignatius of Antioch, his letter to the Trallians, he also mentions that there are Christians who deny the crucifixion. So this was my master's thesis, was on topics like this, in particular the book of Galatians in the New Testament.
يا أيتها النفس المطمئنة ارجعي إلى ربك راضية مرضية فادخلي في عبادي وادخلي جنتي.